Hey folks, welcome to the Unsung podcast. I'm Mark. I am not joined by Chris this week. In fact, you may even notice that the audio quality is a little bit different and a little bit dodgy compared to what usually pops out on this feed. And that's because something pretty catastrophic has happened. Last week, Chris was subject to a ransomware attack, which means that all of the data on his laptop, everything, has been completely lost, and actually the laptop in and of itself no longer functions. So we're not just talking Unsung files, we're talking audio software, we're talking music that he's made, we're even talking files for his work. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, well, you guys are idiots. Why did you not just back up to the cloud? Well, because they were able to get access to his laptop, they were able to get access to all of his accounts, and that includes our shared Dropbox account. So even those files were completely corrupt and unobtainable, basically. So Chris has lost everything. As a result, we have lost this week's episode. Now, this week's episode will come out hopefully next week, but that really depends on if Chris can get his hands on a new laptop and get his hands on the right software and get it all set up the way it used to be. But we did record that episode remotely because it's an interview. So we do actually have those files, thank God. So that will come out hopefully next week, but honestly, can't say for sure. Hand on heart, 100%, not sure if anything will come out next week. Chris is working really hard to try and get a new laptop and new editing software. He couldn't even record a little bit for me to put into this because his laptop is completely gone. It is just toast. So unfortunately, there will be no episode this week. Hopefully, we'll be back next week, but as I said, I'm honestly not sure if that will be possible, but we're trying our goddamn hardest. Now, if you'd like to help Chris get back on his feet, we would really appreciate some donations. Now, I know we bang on about the Patreon all the time, and that is still there. If you want to go to patreon.com/unsungpod, you can subscribe to the podcast on there for the starting tier of £4 per month or whatever your local equivalent is. And then there's a couple of tiers above that, which is the Unsung Record Club. I'm not going to go into that in any detail. Go to patreon.com/unsungpod if you want to hear or read more about that. But we understand that, sometimes you might just not want a long-term commitment, especially when something like this happens. You might just want to give us a little bit of cash and say, hey, Chris, use this to buy some new stuff because we really need it, not just for this podcast, but he needs it for his work and, for his music and everything. His entire fucking life revolves around the laptop, well, as it does for all of us, right? Who work on laptops, our entire lives revolve around them. So it's hard times for everybody. But if you do have a little bit of cash and you want to, help Chris get back on his feet, we've also got a PayPal where you can do a one-off donation. If you go to unsungpod.net/donate, you can drop any amount of money you want into our PayPal tip jar, and that will come straight to us, and we'll be able to use that to help Chris at least continue doing the show that you love. So yeah, that's it for me. Like I said, if you want to put your hand in your pocket for Chris, unsungpod.net/donate. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Take care.